morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Indian markets erase opening gains. Nifty trades below 10,750 mark. India VIX surges. Open interest in tire stocks, they surge after traders take fresh position in their respective futures. Hcl Technologies is the top Nifty loser after the company falls short of estimates in Q4. Bajaj Auto is among the top gainers in trade after the total sales in April rose 23% on a year-on-year basis. Well, those are the top headlines at this hour, and also just to include, SEBI is set to probe into the sharp drop that has taken place in Interglobe Aviation stock before the company put out a statement informing that Aditya Ghosh has decided to move on. And staying on with the news of Indigo, that's a Bloomberg News exclusive. The market regulator is set to initiate a probe into the sharp drop in Interglobe Aviation that took place, mind you, on Friday before the announcement when the stock was down nearly 6% before the company actually put out a statement informing that Aditya Ghosh has decided to move on. Let's get your details on that. Santanu Chakraborty joins us now on the phone line with more details on that front. Hi, Santanu. Good morning. Tell us what more are you gathering on this front?
Hi, good morning. So the thing is, SEBI is looking at disclosures, whether proper and timely disclosures were made by Indigo, because as it is apparent that some people had prior information of the exit of the President Aditya Ghosh, and on which they traded on the stock, which resulted in the stock drop the highest in 7 months. So this is a preliminary investigation because the which SEBI does look at this qualifies on those. So SEBI will kind of look at the stock information and trading data to ascertain whether those insiders are connected persons who benefited because of their insider knowledge of what's going on.
Okay. Santanu, any timeline with regard to the investigation that SEBI will be doing with regard to the price fall of Indigo?
At this point, there's no timeline that has been marked by the regulator yet, because, as I said, it is right now a very preliminary stage of investigation because they are just assessing the price data that has and relationship, and maybe at a further, at a future stage, they may ask the company about details of connected persons and their trading activity.
All right. Thanks a lot, Santanu, for joining us this morning and taking us through those exclusive details. We'll be tracking that news for you. SEBI is likely to investigate the matter of insider trading which took place in Indigo. In fact, they are looking whether it was an insider trading case or not. Remember, before the announcement, the stock on Friday fell nearly 6%, and Interglobe Aviation is seeing cuts of almost 3% in today's session. Moving on to the futures and options segment, and let's see what sort of trends we are getting in today's trade. We did have a positive opening coming about, but looks like the markets have given up the morning gains that one saw. Let's just pull up Nifty and the Bank Nifty futures. Remember, the premium on Monday went up for Nifty futures, but that's come off slightly. I guess from 40 points, it's now down to 26, 27 points, telling you that higher levels, maybe there is some resistance coming around the mark of 10,750 for Nifty. Let's just pull up the Bank Nifty futures as well and see what's happening on that front. Trading with premium of 37 points. Bank Nifty finally in the May series has been witnessing some sort of gains. 25,550 is the level where that's trading. What's doing well in today's session is the Nifty Auto Index. Remember, the monthly sales number came in. It's a new month, and the numbers look pretty good so far. So the Nifty Auto Index seems to be the top sectoral gainer in today's session. But as the markets have given off their gains of the one we saw in the morning session, Nifty Auto is also off the day's high. Let's tell you which are the option strike that are active in today's session. The maximum OI concentration continues to be on the 11,000 call and the 10,500 put, and we're currently somewhere about 10,700. That's indicating there could be some bit of consolidation which could take place. Out of the money call strike, that's the 11,000 call strike, has witnessed some bit of OI addition in today's session. In fact, that's added nearly 2 lakh shares as we speak, whereas on the put side, no major writing seen so far, but just minor addition seen for the 10,700 and the 10,600 strike. What are the institutions doing in this market? They've been buying a lot of protection. If you look at Monday's trading session, the FIs actually added almost 24,000 contracts on the put long side, and in fact they've been net buyers on index futures for the May series after they've been net short for the last two series. In terms of stock futures, I just want to highlight two stocks that are in focus. One of them is the top loser in Nifty, and that's Hcl Technologies, which came out with its numbers. I think the slight bit of disappointment, but let's not forget the numbers were almost in line. The stock has also been inching higher, so probably it could be a case of profit booking after the numbers have been out. And let's just pull up the futures of Hcl Technologies and see if there is any sort of short build-up that has been seen. So open interest is up 5%, but I believe there is more action that has been seen for a couple of the option strike of Hcl Technologies. The other one is the top gainer in Nifty, and that's Kotak Mahindra Bank, which came out with its numbers on Friday. Well, good set of numbers, I would call it. If you look at the loan growth on year-on-year basis for fourth quarter, that was almost up 25. That was at 25%. The brokerages this morning have increased their target price for the likes of CLSA as well as Citi. Both the brokerages have increased the target price on this counter. Remember, the stocks also hit its all-time high, and the open interest has surged, as we just saw that plate on the screen, that the futures open interest is up nearly 10% in trade. That's telling you there are some fresh long positions taking place for Kotak Mahindra Bank as the stock trades at its all-time high levels. Okay, that's a snapshot of what's happening on the futures and options side. But before we get our guest in the show, here's a reminder for you all. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, with AskSpeakU hashtag. And remember, the ones who are watching us on YouTube, you can also write your queries on that platform. Let's welcome our F&O experts then, Nirav, Chheda of Nirmal Bank Securities and Mr. K. Subramanyam of Altamount Capital are here with us. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen. Nirav, let me come to you first. What's the sort of option strategy that you're deploying now, considering we're seeing some bit of consolidation coming around the mark of 10,700 to 10,750?
Yeah. Morning. See, Nifty from about 10,000 odd levels has come to 10,800 in about 5 weeks. In all the 5 weeks, you've seen a higher top, higher bottom formation with a green candle close on a weekly basis, which is very good. Now, I do see, some amount of selling pressure coming in Nifty around 10,780, 10,800 levels, which is a previous strong resistance area. So, very likely Nifty can fall down again up to 10,600, 10,550 odd levels, before again witnessing some consolidation for this series. Now, with the series being of about 25 odd working days still, I believe Nifty can, the premiums in Nifty can continue to rise. The VIX can continue to rise from 12 and a half, which is at current levels, to about 14, 15 levels. So a good strategy at current levels will be, buying a long straddle. Buying 10,800 call and puts will be a very good strategy with only about 270 points premium that you have to pay. You can keep a stop loss of about 50 points and a target of about 100 points.
Okay, so Nirav is suggesting a long straddle on Nifty when it comes to an option strategy by the 10,800 call as well as the put strike. Let's go across to Mr. Subramanyam and find what sort of strategy he has for us. And Mr. Subramanyam, I do guess that you have some bit of strategy on Nifty where you're suggesting to sell the 10,500 put, and you also have a covered call on ICICI Prudential.
Yeah, that's right. Nifty, of course, we have seen a very pretty smart rally, but close to levels of 10,750, 10,800, we probably could run into some sort of resistance or a profit taking, whatever we may call. So we feel that this could be good levels to sort of take a short position, but at the same time, we are not exactly very bearish on the. It's just that some sort of correction could be seen. So correspondingly, one should sell futures, so it's a synthetic spread. So one could sell Nifty futures. And also correspondingly sell a 10,500 strike put. That's also quoting at range premium of around 70 to 80. Keeping a target of 10,550, and maybe one could keep a stop loss of 10,780.
Okay, so that's a sell on 10,500 put strike that he's suggesting. And I guess you also have a covered call strategy on ICICI Prudential, if you could take our viewers through it.
Yeah, that's right. So ICICI Prudential has seen some very smart breakout week 10 days back. and close to the levels of 420, 425 has some decent support. So we feel that one could do some sort of a covered call since we are entering into some sort of profit taking zone in the overall market. A covered call might be a better strategy. Buy the futures and sell a 440 strike call, and keeping a target of 448. And maybe one could keep a stop loss of 412. And last, we also have a naked put buying of L&T. L&T has seen a pretty smart rise, but again, probably could be heading for some correction. One could buy 1400 strike, putting it on in the range of 25 to 28, keeping a target of 42, and maybe one could keep a stop loss of 18.
Okay, Mr. Subramanyam is playing safe today. He's got all option strategy, be it on the index and also on a couple of the stocks like L&T as well as ICICI Prudential. Nirav, in terms of stock futures, what are you recommending in trade?
Yeah, see, one is a buy on a defensive stock. If you see in the last few days, a lot of money is flown into defensive, especially IT and FMCG. So I believe ITC at current levels is very attractive. You can buy a future at current levels. I believe it can go up towards 295, 300 odd levels. After a long, consolidation, it has broken out, which is a good sign. You can keep a stop loss about 272 and go long.
Okay, that's a long strategy coming in on ITC futures. Gentlemen, please stay on with us. We've got the management of Hcl Technologies, which is addressing the media post their March quarter numbers. Let's cut across.
5 million of gains, of hedge gains, and this quarter alone was close to 25 million, 25.4 million of hedge gains. We have a hedge book of about $2 billion, and where the hedge rate is pretty good. So we continue to sort of deliver both on the EBIT line as well as below the EBIT line a good performance. So with this, I will hand over to my colleague Rahul.
Thanks, Anil. I'll quickly give a commentary on the financial services business. So financial services business grew at 13.3% this year, and this was on the back of another successful year we had in the previous year in terms of growth. So we've had 2 consecutive years of reasonably high growth as compared to the others in the industry. The financial services growth has been driven by essentially 2 things. Number one has been, as CVK mentioned earlier, the growth of our services in the Mode 2 offerings. There are Mode 2 offerings which are more digital in nature. They tend to be consumed by financial services in a big way. And as the company's Mode 2 grew, financial services Mode 2 participation also grew. That also enabled us, and that's the second reason for growth, is that the growth of the Mode 2 in the company's portfolio enabled financial services to also acquire new customers. So we were able to acquire, at least, 6 to 7 large logos over the last 6 to 8 months. Over the last 6 to 8 quarters, and these large clients have started to now ramp up in terms of their business with us. And as the ramp-ups have happened, that's reflected in our revenue growth. I must mention here that financial services large logos, are traditionally very closed loop in terms of new customers, in terms of new service partners. So when you break into 7, 8 new names, it is a reasonably large achievement from the industry perspective. Technology consumption in financial services is not declining. It is constant. In fact, there are certain analysts which project technology consumption by financial services to increase by between 2% to 3% over the next couple of years. What is, however, changing is the mix of the technology consumption has changed. Traditional technology is coming down almost 3 to 4% year on year, while technology consumption in the newer areas is growing upwards of 20-25%.
Okay, that was the management of Hcl Technologies addressing the media post their earnings. Remember, the numbers were just in line with what the street was estimating, but there is some bout of profit booking that has kicked in today's trading session, as Hcl Technologies has been going up in the last few trading sessions. Nirav, I want to come back to you. I guess you also had a strategy on Sun Pharma. If you could take us through that.
Yeah. Again, in the pharma space, a lot of buying has been seen, but you can see consolidation in Sun Pharma as a whole from the last 2-3 months around 500 odd levels, which is a good support area. See, now Sun Pharma, I believe, is not going to break below 500 in a hurry. Very likely with good rollovers, it is going to come up towards 550, 570 odd levels. So one can go long in this. You can see some consolidation still probably in this week, but it should, again, again pick up pace in the next week and go up towards 550, 570 odd levels. You can buy with a stop loss of 518, which is a good support area. The very important support for Sun Pharma from a medium term perspective is 500 again, and a possible target for trading perspective will be around 555.
Okay, target of 555 on Sun Pharma futures is what is being recommended by Nirav in today's trading session. I just want to address a couple of stock futures which have reacted post their earnings. One of them is Hindustan Zinc. Can we just pull up that counter? Remember, the earnings came out on Friday, and we've seen some negative reaction coming in for Hindustan Zinc, where the stock's corrected 4.5%. Also want to highlight the volume so far, considering we just 1 hour into the trading, has been on the higher side. Mr. Subramanyam, any strategy on Hindustan Zinc at current levels?
Not really. I don't have any strategy.
Okay, Nirav, anything on Hindustan Zinc that you're tracking on the charts at 313?
Yeah. See, Hindustan Zinc had reached near its resistance of 340. From the last few weeks, it has been, resisting around those same levels, and a lot of selling pressure is coming at those levels. Now, very likely it is going to come down further, at least up till 290 odd levels, which is the lower band of its consolidation. So one can go short at current levels also, with a stop loss of about 325 and a possible target of 290.
Possible target of 290. One can look to go short at these levels, is what Nirav is suggesting. Hindustan Zinc, I think there are some fresh short positions being taken, as the open interest, I was just checking for the May futures, is up 8%. But Kotak Mahindra Bank, what a move that counter has had today. I just highlighted the start of the show. Brokerages have actually raised their target price. The loan growth was pretty good, which was 25%. Mr. Subramanyam, at these all-time high levels, the stock is up 3%. If somebody had taken a long position here, would you advise them to book profits, or they should just trail stop loss now?
Well, I think current levels one could look to book some profits, and I think this could take the mantle over from something like an HDFC Bank, because among the private banking space now, this is clearly becoming the preferred pick after possibly an HDFC Bank. But for a trading call, I would prefer to book profits.
Okay, prefer to book profits at these levels. Can we just pull up PC Jewelers? Remember, that's the stock which has been in focus for the last few trading sessions. We've seen a sharp correction for this stock last week and as well as this week. Remember, even on Monday's session, the stock had seen sharp correction, and currently, as we speak, 9% lower. Can we just pull up the intraday chart that's going to tell you how the correction has taken place? I think in the morning it was just about flattish, and now at every level, traders are just taking fresh positions, fresh short positions actually. PC Jewelers, remember, the counter has retreated from those highs of 600 that one has seen in the month of January. Nirav, would you take a short position now at these levels, considering there has been a huge wealth deterioration for the shareholders of PC Jewelers?
Yeah. See, there are two things here. The first part is I believe PC Jeweler is going to come down further, at least up till 100 odd levels. Then secondly, will I short? No, I will not short. See, 300 levels, it has fallen to 113 just about 5-6 trading days. So it doesn't make sense. The risk reward doesn't make sense at this level. I believe it will come down, but it is best left alone.
Okay, so Nirav is suggesting don't go short, at least at current levels, and probably that would be a wise advice considering we've seen so much of correction. But let's see, there is no clarification that's coming from the management. We did speak to them last week, but they still don't know who's the seller in the shares of PC Jewelers, but open interest is down nearly 3%. I'm going to shift focus to our next segment and try and address some of the viewer queries that have come by. Girish Kumar writes to us. He wants to know if he can go long on C8 and what should be the target price there. Remember, the tire stocks have been witnessing good amount of open interest addition, and even the stock prices like MRF, Apollo, C8, Balkrishna, all of them have been inching higher. Mr. Subramanyam, anything on C8 at current levels of 1635? The counter trades with gains of 3%. Would you advise somebody to take any sort of long position? If yes, what should be the target price and upside?
No, I would not be very keen on taking a long position on C8 at the current juncture, so I would probably give it a pass.
And any other tire stock, Mr. Subramanyam, besides C8 that's looking attractive on the charts?
Well, my preferred pick probably would be an Apollo tire. You know the chart, it's looking pretty, it's relatively on a better territory than something like a CL. And it has been performing pretty well. So that also, of course, current levels, I would definitely not rush in to buy it. But I think now that it is trading closer to levels of 300, I would probably wait for some correction. 285, 290 could be preferred levels. But till then, I would probably just be neutral and stay away.
Okay, so he prefers Apollo tires from the tire space. Open interest of 4% for that counter as we speak. Let me address some of the queries that have come by on YouTube. One of our viewer is asking, he has HDFC 1900 call strike at 33.5 premium. He wants to know if he can hold. I guess 1900 is the out of the money call strike of HDFC as the counter trades at 1875. The current premium on that strike is somewhere about 30. So it's fallen just a bit from the buy price of our viewer. Nirav, what would be the advice? Should he be holding on to the call strike 1900 of HDFC?
Yeah. See, HDFC had reached around 1900, which is a resistance area in this week itself, and has since witnessed a lot of selling pressure. Previously also, historically, it has witnessed a lot of selling pressure around those levels. So I believe it can now come down towards 1800 or 1820 odd levels. So it doesn't make sense to hold on to longs in 1900 call. You should be exiting.
Okay, the same viewer also has a query on Indigo. Remember, that's the stock that we've been tracking very, very closely. Santanu of Bloomberg just broke that news that SEBI could be investigating the price fall that one saw just before the announcement that Aditya Ghosh was resigning. So he wants to know, he's holding a call. He wants to buy actually the call strike 1400, which is somewhere quoting about 39 rupees premium. He's asking if he can look to buy that strike, and it's somewhere about 42. That's right. It's not actually 39. Mr. Subramanyam, any position that you would recommend on Interglobe Aviation? The sole reason why the stock is corrected is because of management changes. Fundamentally, we don't know. We have to wait for the numbers of the March quarter, how they pan out. But technically on the charts, is there any position that you would recommend on Indigo, especially on the 1400 call strike?
Well, it's definitely tempting because all the aviation stocks have been looking pretty good, and Indigo in particular, because it has been outperforming the market, and it had given a breakout, and then this news flow comes about, and we see the very sharp shorts getting created. So, considering the nature of the news, I would probably not be very comfortable with initiating a 1400 strike call, because the amount of shorts that were created a couple of days back pretty unnerving. So, I think one has to wait and watch. But yes, current levels. A little tempting, but I would probably refrain from taking any long position.
Okay, refrain from taking any long position on Interglobe Aviation is what Mr. Subramanyam has been indicating. And remember that investigation will always be an overhang investigation pertaining to insider trading if that takes place by SEBI. Our next query for the day is coming in from Narendra Kurani. He too writes to us on YouTube. He's holding a 1000 call strike of Reliance Industries at a premium of 21.7, and that is for the May series, and he wants to know if he could hold on, or what should he do actually with this position. Remember, the stock had touched the mark of 1000 just before the earnings were released, but earnings were not in line with street estimate, and that's the reason some bit of profit booking was seen for this counter. So the premium from 21.7 has come down to 15 rupees. Nirav, should he be booking losses here, or he should just wait it out till the end of the series?
Yeah, I believe Reliance is in an uptrend. It will cross 1000 eventually, probably in the mid-May. So very likely, his price will again come. He will get certain amount of profits also. He should be holding on to that strike with a stop loss of 10. I believe he can book around 25-30. Reliance can come up towards 1020 in this series.
Reliance can come up to levels of 1020. So Nirav, you're suggesting he can look to hold on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so hold on, arrange through your position that you have on Reliance Industries 1000 call strike. I just want to pull up India Volatility Index. It's actually inched higher. Remember, it was a big respite for the bulls that the India Volatility Index finally retreated from those higher levels of 14.5 to 15. But once again, it's trading with gains of 4%, currently above that crucial mark of 12.5. So do keep monitoring that. And the Nifty PSU Banking Index has fallen 1.5% in trade. Also profit booking seen for for indices like Nifty Metals as well as the Nifty IT index. So IT actually post the Hcl Technologies numbers as seeing some bit of profit booking. But Dabur, that's the other one which came out with its earnings yesterday. I believe the numbers were pretty strong on the operating front. The domestic volume growth was 7.7, which was pretty much in line with the street was estimating. The stock has touched lifetime high levels in today's session, 2.7%. Mr. Subramanyam, just before the numbers, if somebody would have actually taken a long position going into the earnings, what would you advise them to do?
Well, I think clearly, he has got prior to the results, and now the news is out. So sell on news, that's a basic thing, because of course the chart is looking pretty strong. But since it's a trading position, I would be advisable to book profits and exit.
Okay, that's Dabur India May futures 380 trading with a premium of 1 rupee. On YouTube, Dipanshu Bhatia saying he's bought L&T at 1,410, quantity 750. It's a trading position. I think so. He's taken a position on the cash side and not, I believe, on the future side. Nirav, L&T is in focus after the news came in yesterday. They're looking to sell their, they've actually made an announcement of selling their electrical division at 1406. He's bought at 1410. What would you advise him to do?
I think he should continue to hold on. See, it has bounced up from its 50-day moving average, which was around 1320, and very likely it is now going to reach near its very important resistance. Also, the previous top, which was around 1450 odd level. So he can hold on to longs. However, one should keep a stop loss of 1380, which is a good support area. If that breaks, one should be exiting positions.
Okay, just one more query. I'm just going to squeeze in. Rajesh Kumar on YouTube is holding Nalco at 80. He wants to know what to do, and the current price is somewhere about 80 itself. Mr. Subramanyam, on the charts, what is it suggesting? Is can there be more upside in the May series for Nalco?
Well, actually, honestly, it's a little, I think, confusing. In fact, it's had a pretty sharp drop and then again sort of retrace. So our current levels, I would not be very comfortable holding on to it. I think you would do better off exiting the counter.
Okay, that's Nalco. Remember, all these aluminum players were going up after the prices on London Metal Exchange were inching higher, but probably from those all-time high levels, they've cooled off. But just to remind our viewers, the prices still remain on the higher side if you compare them from the start of May. Nirav, anything interesting popping on the charts right now?
Yeah, see, there are two things. First of all, as you said, Nalco, I believe it has made its stop near 90 levels, and one can be shorting this at current levels. Very likely it will come down to 75, 65 odd levels. The reason being, you know, the volumes. The volumes at higher levels have been really, really high. In fact, highest in the past 3-4 months, which is not very good for the stock. Very likely it will again, you know, bounce down up till 67 levels. The second one is a sell on Yes Bank. If you see, Yes Bank had given good results, but again someone has sold around 360, 365, which has been historically its very important resistance area, and you know there are huge volumes at higher levels, which is really not very good for any stock. So it can again, you know, come down to about 350 or 340 levels. So these are the two stocks you can go short in this market.
Okay, Nirav is actually suggesting to go short on Yes Bank as well as Nalco with regard to the futures of the same. And in fact, the Anil Ambani group companies have been inching higher. The top 3 F&O gainers are Reliance Communication, Reliance Naval, Reliance Power. Let's not forget, they are all beaten down counters which are seeing some bit of respite in today's session. Communication up 13%, Naval up nearly 5% in trade. Well, we're running out of time. On that note, I would like to thank both our guests, Nirav as well as Mr. Subramanyam. Thanks a lot for joining us today and taking us through your views in the derivatives market and also helping our viewers with your queries. Well, that's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.